Hey, this is Ross from 1 Minute Mixing Madness, and I had a request from several former students to go over in depth the resume submission process and the resume review process. And instead of making three separate phone calls, three separate pep talks to former students about how to go out there and get a job with your resume, I figured I'd make this video and place you guys and also anyone who wants to watch into the head of someone who has spent a significant number of years in the hiring seat, in the interview seat. And that's with respect to uh, runners, engineering assistants, engineers, project coordinators, even production directors, receptionists, executive assistants, administrative assistants. Uh, I even helped hire the CFO for Enterprise Studios, Enterprise Corporate back in the day, 1996 to 2005. I spent my late 20s working for Enterprise Studios, which was one of the largest recording studios in the world. Our rival was the Hit Factory. We had at one point several SSL rooms, including I think two or three 101 channel SSLs, a couple Neves, dozens of edit suites, including mastering rooms across the street. We had four buildings and 150 employees at one point. And what's interesting is I know some of you guys follow Dave Pensato, Pensato's place. Dave Pensato was camped out at Enterprise Studios for years, and this is a guy who was working 6, sometimes 7 days a week for weeks, months on end, and the coveted spot was to be his guy, his assistant, and that's where you got Manny, Dylan, all these guys that spent maybe 1 to 2 years working under Dave's direction, and then kind of went out and became tracking engineers and mixers in their own right. And I started out as a runner at Enterprise, worked my way up, and saw a lot of the work ethic that and professionalism that differentiates someone who's able to make it and someone who, for some reason, isn't able to get where they want to be, or perhaps it takes them a little bit longer. Anyway, um, uh, some of the details that I'll be going into are associated with resume writing, resume submission, and some of it is associated with just engineering in general. But I just wanted to put you in my head as you go out there and submit your resume. First things first, the resume is you, and it is a function of uh, who you are, who you want to be, and it should be the direct translation of you. You are when you drop off your resume via your email submission, you're dropping off your life because every employment opportunity has the is a chance to change your life. So spend some time on it. With this particular resume that I'm going to show you, I've blacked out some identifying information of the individual. It's also from a while back, so we'll keep this individual anonymous as a courtesy. Um, this individual went to Full Sail, which is one of the premier, if not the premier, recording schools in the country, coming out with a Bachelor of Science in Music Production. And we'll get to that in a second. So I'll just tell you what I see, and then we'll dig in. Audio engineer, composer, sound designer. This is like the title. It's a little bit overly broad in my opinion, because people are generally looking for either an audio engineer or a sound designer or a composer. Sometimes audio engineer and sound designer. But that's okay. Demo reel, that's a hyperlink that I'm assuming would click up. Fine. Profile statement. Generally speaking, the longer you are out of school, the more you will have on your resume and the less room you will have for your profile statement. So I would say, you could basically very, very briefly what you're looking for. I'm not a fan of profile statements in general. I understand you're looking for a job, uh, unless it's something very specific that you want to put on your resume. It belongs on a cover letter. I'm not a huge fan of this. This does scream student or recent graduate. It's okay because maybe you don't have a ton of time. A ton of uh, things to list on your resume. But let's read this. A dedicated professional with proven experience in audio post-production and audio engineering. Okay, I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to find an error, which is audio engineering. This E should not be capitalized. Now, I know you're not looking for a job as a English professor, English teacher, but this was not proofed the way that it should have been proofed. I'm a big fan of perfectly written resumes because it shows attention to detail. And if you're not great at writing a resume, find someone that is. If you're not a great editor or proofer, find someone that is. If you do not know your weakness, which might be spelling, which might be proofing, if you don't know your weakness, you are dangerous in a studio. If you don't know that, okay, maybe working with video or importing files or video codecs, exporting, maybe shortcuts are your weakness. If you don't know your weaknesses, that's not a good thing. So fix this right here, this E, a dedicated professional with proven experience. Well, let's look at that experience. Specializing in sound design. Okay, this is not a sentence, which is okay because it's kind of like we're doing the phrases thing. I prefer full sentences. My strong work ethic, attention to detail, unique sound is a testament to my success and will prove me to be an asset to your company. I mean, I like the fact that someone is making an effort, but I have to say this is very generic as far as I'm concerned. Very generic, and I don't even need it. I don't even want it. Okay, and I assume, actually I know because I blacked this out here. There's a lot of other generic stuff here that maybe it was phrases pulled from a curriculum, phrases pulled from the career lab. If you look at audio expertise here, audio post-production, recording. I have an expertise in recording. I have an expertise in 5.1, expertise in problem solving. These are just phrases. So right ahead, this is not the level of detail that would separate this individual from everybody else. I get a lot of resumes just like this. There's also some inconsistencies in terms of format, and you might think I'm being particular, but I got to tell you, details matter. Mixing stereo /5.1. Let's take a look at this slash. There's no space in between 0 and 5. Let's look at this slash. There's spaces in between these two words. That matters. Subconsciously, that matters. I've seen 5,000 resumes, and I'm telling you it matters on a subconscious level when things look neat and formats are consistent, tenses are consistent. Areas of expertise. Well, when you read a bold section here, what is your area of expertise? Your area of expertise is sound design, ADR, Foley. Okay, if that's the case, fine. Your area of expertise is professional. Your area of expertise is strong work ethic. Is that you are a professional? Is that you have a strong work ethic? The phrases aren't even delivered in the same way. This is way too broad. Avid, Pro Tools, really? What version of Pro Tools? What OS? What plugin sets are you? With what plugin sets are you familiar? McDSP, Massey, Slate. I don't get any specifics here, and that's a problem. That shows me that maybe it shows me someone doesn't really know what I'm looking for in a resume, but it shows that an individual is not able to communicate with a level of detail exactly what they've been working on. This is just incredibly broad right here. So honestly, this is not doing these first two sections aren't really doing anything for me at all. Okay, going on. Industry experience. Okay, dialogue editor. Okay, so if someone actually has worked as a dialogue editor, we're not talking about assistant. We're talking about a dialogue editor. Okay, great. Now I'm assuming that this is current because it's using present tense. So this is where this person is employed. Present tense. Assembles, synchronizes, edits all the dialogue in productions and projects. Okay, what kind? I want details. We're talking about TV, we're talking about film, we're talking about student film, we're talking about video games. What are we talking about? I want details. I don't have detail here. I'm sorry. And if you don't have the detail in this specific phrase here, let's at least have it in a description of the company, like this company does trailers, this company does fixes M&Es, this company does radio spots. No detail there. Balances and equalizes the sounds to make each word as crisp and clear as can be. I'm not liking the phrasing on that. Okay, balance and EQ. Okay, we're talking about mixing, EQing, compression. Okay, fine. Carefully scrutinizes all the lines of dialogue for problems both technical and performance related. Okay, so you're saying there's another way to say this, and what I would say is edit dialogue for clarity, comma, pacing, comma, intelligibility, or whatever. There's a phrase called Frankenbite, which is where if someone doesn't say the word the right way, it doesn't say an S, you grab an S from somewhere else and you paste it over there. That kind of detailed editing happens in reality TV, audio post-production all the time. Phrases like that are industry phrases would be great to see here. I don't like the fact visually that it just wraps around on one word. We could fix that. Set up and engineer table read sessions for, I guess that's the name of the project. Effectively edit and organize dialogue for the project. Set up and engineer a table read. I want more details. Again, this is overly broad. Now, dates would be great, and I think I remember before I blacked it out, this said, December and the year to February of that. I don't need you to write December. I want the month and the date, dash to the month and the date. So this person was a dialogue editor and described it in a very general sense. I mean, I know what a dialogue editor does, but there's a very big difference between a dialogue editor on reality TV and a dialogue editor for a feature film. The level of scrutiny is different. I mean, B-roll is incorporated differently. The whole concept of B-roll. They're both use templates, I'm sure. For reality TV, the dialogue editor might also do some mixing or sub-mixing. For features, the workflow is more compartmentalized. You have more people and more money being thrown at the project. One other thing I caught, and I hope you caught it before I'm going to show you right now. Assembles, what's this tense? Present. Set up and engineered, what's this tense? Past tense, sorry. Inconsistent tenses. Edited, past tense. Balances, present tense. You're either doing it or you did it, and you have to make a choice. Some people say, okay, well, how do I keep the tenses consistent? If it's where you're at, you could do present tense. I'm a big fan of just keeping everything past tense, just for consistency. But within this one job, we're mixing tenses, and I don't like that. It just subconsciously, even if you miss it on a conscious level, subconsciously, I don't like that. Intern, okay, so it looks like this person was moved up from an intern to a dialogue editor at this place in New York, which is fine, but let's take a look. Intern is bold, dialogue editor is not. We need consistency here. I don't care if you italicize or bold or I understand you want to separate it, but we're missing some. There's some formatting issues. I don't need you to be a graphic designer, but I need you to make it look professional. Intern. Okay, so we're saying okay, so we're back to present tense, maintaining. But if we were an intern before we are a dialogue editor, this should be past tense. Maintain studio cleanliness and functionality. This is great. More detail would be great too. Zeroed console, dusted console. So even look, hey, if you did the trash, if you did the dishes, if you did the bathroom, I want that. I want that because service industry rocks, and I've got a video out on the Mixing Madness channel going off on resumes in general about people not putting in service experience. This is good. Setting up ADR sessions. What does that mean? Does that mean you set up a mic? What mic? Does that mean you set up a couple HDMI breakout boxes going to TVs? And does that mean you set up multiple Q mixes? Does that mean, what does that mean, set up ADR sessions? I mean, yes, you could say everyone knows what, well, a lot of people know what an ADR session is, but if you are detailed, that helps me. Assisting with backups, editing dialogue and sound effects. Why is this capitalized here? What is that? Seriously? Assisting with backups. How? Does that just mean you dragged and dropped? File save session copy as and clicking audio and video files? Are you using an archival software? Are you backing up to the cloud? Give me some detail here so I understand. What I love to see, I actually love to see that you assisted with backups, but I would love to hear more detail. What I love to see is an engineer that has a little bit of like light IT work, because that experience really helps facilities that are not giant facilities that have a separate individual responsible for IT. Chief engineers need to know networking issues, need to know backup, archival issues. Assisting with backups. Are you backing up entire disk images? Are you cloning drives? Or are you just backing up the session, dragging and dropping? Are you doing updated backups where only the changing information gets backed up? A lot of banks do that. Or are you dragging and dropping completed sessions? Are you zipping things up and sending them where? Editing dialogue, okay. But is it dialogue cleanup? And when you edit dialogue, are you just cutting and pasting, or are you using, I don't know, Isotope, I don't know, Waves Restoration, I don't know, can I please have some detail here? And sound effects. Sound effects, are you using SoundMiner? I don't know. Are you using Adobe Audition, or what are you using for your sound? Drag and drop, what are you using? So far, I mean, I actually see up here, areas of expertise. I see, okay, Logic, Studio One, Pro Tools. There's no level of detail in any of this. No version, to what degree you know that. Area of expertise, this person is not an expert in that. There's no way. Okay? Expert in mastering too? No. Expert is, 10 years in, 10 years in. First you learn something, then you become proficient. You're a professional when you're paid. Then you do it gracefully. Then you start teaching while you're doing. Even if you're not a full-time teacher, you teach the people around you. And then you're a master. Intern, before that, let's go down here. Intern, assisted in finding library music for TV and radio spots. Assisted in finding, it's a better way to phrase this, sourced library music, sourced cue music for TV and radio spots. That's okay. Audition talent, okay. I mean, I have an idea for what that is, but does that mean you sat in with the producer and what did you help with, like, on an administrative level, or were you actually the person choosing talent? Give me some details. Familiarize myself with the studio and how it operates. I don't like that phrase, even though that's kind of what you do during an internship. Just say, sat in on sessions, or worked with the following equipment, blah, blah, blah. Familiarize myself with the studio and how it operates. This screams students. This screams student. I don't like this. And I understand that it's what you do during an internship, but there's a phrase I use called cheat up. And I don't mean cheat lie. I mean cheat up, where put into words the most specific, highest end job that you ever did, even if you only did it a couple of times. Make yourself look good. It's like a date. When you go out on a date, do you talk about do you put your best, traits first while someone across the table is vetting you? Or do you just talk about you? I would say in general you try to cheat up. Not cheat lie, not cheat. You try to wear the presentation on your sleeve of the best version of you so that you get another date. That's what a resume is, the best version of you. It's a ticket to go to your interview. Assisted engineers in setting up studios for clients. Now, this is all past tense, which I like. Edited music and created sound effects for corporate videos with Pro Tools. Okay. For corporate video. Is this a single video or videos? If you only did it once, something that you only did once, are you proficient at it, or you just did it once? I think you mean corporate videos here. Edited music. So you were a music editor. I would say music editor and sound designer for corporate videos. Dozens of corporate videos. How many? Oh, within Pro Tools. Oh, this is an error that I just caught. You mean within or with Pro Tools or in Pro Tools? It's a zonk right here. Come on. Really? Do you see it? That's annoying. I mean, that's not going to prevent someone from getting a job. It's because they're a bad speller, but it might prevent someone from getting a job because they're not detail oriented. Proof it. If you're not good at proofing, find a friend that knows how to proof a resume, hand it to your friend, trade services, pay your friend, take them to dinner, go hang out, beg them, go to your teacher, whatever. Video with, I think they meant with and they typed in and they forgot to delete it. They didn't mean within. Come on. And this is from Full Sail. Come on, Full Sail. You guys have a career lab. It's not your fault if someone doesn't take advantage of your career lab, but please, if you went to Full Sail, of all the places, Full Sail needs to do better than that. And also, Full Sail, Bachelor of Science in Music Production. How much is Full Sail? A lot of money. The least you can do after writing that you graduated from Full Sail is underneath Full Sail, you put all the cool courses. I want detailed. I don't just want this. I mean, you could say that all this is that. Come on, that looks like it's just copied from all the different categories of things that you might study in Full Sail. Come on. And this expertise in mastering, not happening, not on this resume. Okay? What I want, Full Sail University, Bachelor of Science in Music Production, I want significant coursework in blah, blah, blah. And I want the cool courses. I want sound design for film. I want creating of sound, or whatever the word I want, multimedia production, sound design for animation, equalization, session prep for audio mix. I want digital theory. I want analog theory. If you took it, I'm assuming you took it, Full Sail. Intimately familiar with, or just familiar with, or working knowledge of, and then tell me. Professional setup for recording, editing, industry standard plugins for recording, mixing, for audio post, or for music sessions, for mastering. And then you list Pro Tools, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There will be a 13 and 14 by the time this goes out, or it's Pro Tools 12 now. Tell me about the interfaces, the large format consoles, whether it's Neve or SSL, or if you're using different boxes. I want to know the plugin packages. You know Logic? Tell me Logic. Tell me the version of Logic. You know mastering software? Tell me. Tell me. And if you understand multimedia and the audio workflow, tell me. Show me. Don't just say Bachelor of Science. Bachelor of Science. Seriously. So this person, I don't think, took advantage of Full Sail's career lab. I think if they did, I could be wrong, but either the career lab needs work, and I don't think you do. I like a lot of resumes that come out of Full Sail. Just this one needs a bunch of work. But when you pay for a university or a recording school, what you're paying for is everything associated with that education. That means you're paying for the career lab services. That means you're paying for the network of alumni that might get you that internship or job. That means you're paying for the weight of Full Sail, which is not a sailing school. Not a sailing school. I actually had, this is 20 years ago, I had someone confess that when they enrolled in Full Sail, maybe their parents enrolled them, I don't know, they tried to. At first they thought it was a sailing school. And then they realized it was for music. It's not a joke. Then they realized it was for engineering, music production. I wound up staying, wound up graduating, wound up working at Enterprise. Crazy world. Anyway, that was a resume take apart. It's not the worst resume in the world, but it's got a bunch of errors, bunch of inconsistencies. It doesn't have nearly the level of detail that I require to really kick this ahead. This person is several years out, was several years out of school. I just know from the dates, even though I didn't include them here, cover them up for anonymity. This needs a bunch of work. If there were more examples of work experience here and a bunch of things listed under here, there's plenty of room just pushing out your margins here, push out your margin to the right. This profile statement could come off and could become a cover letter. This area of expertise, this really, to me, belongs underneath education with someone that has only been in it, 2 to 4 years out of school. And I need the version of all the software you're listing. I need the context of what you're saying. When you say recording, this recording. When you say that, what? Live recording of rock bands using the following microphones, blah. Multi-track recording of blah, blah, blah. Overdub recording of blah, blah, blah with 2 microphones, blah. I understand tracking, I understand editing for music, mix prep for music on a template for a professional mixer. I understand mix prep for a template for mixing audio post for TV or film with 20 tracks wide of dialogue. Or what is the context? Sound design, using SoundMiner, or using what kind of software? Just Pro Tools? Okay. Where do you get your sound effects from? An internal library? Great. Talk about it. That detail is not here, and I don't like that. So I hope I wasn't yelling, but I'm extremely passionate about this because this is someone's life. This is someone's future, and that's either going to stay in the inbox or get deleted, stay in the inbox of the hiring manager, or it's going to be printed out, or it's going to be forwarded to someone else, and this can change someone's life. Not having the right item on your resume, not having the right resume, not having the right format will change your life, or you'll miss an opportunity to change your life. So please take some time to sort that out. Let's take a look at the title. I retitled this because this was this individual's name, Resume 1, which I hate. Hate. Don't call it Resume 1. Call it first name, last name, audio engineer. Or first name, last name, composer, first name, last name, sound designer. If you just call it resume, you know how many resumes I've received? Labeled resume. Then when I save that to my desktop, guess what? It saves over someone else who called their resume resume. Stop right there. Retitle your resume, your first name, your last name. There's no one like you. Maybe there is, but not submitting a resume to this company. There's no one that has the same exact name. And then submit it and proof it over and over and over again. And then go out and get a job. All right. Good luck out there.